Jan and Jules, long in the planning and you're here. Well done. What kicked this off for you?
Well, I think we started talking about this just after the Hobart race. So it was a huge project to get ourselves ready for that first two-handed division in 2021. We're like, well, what do we do now? We need the next adventure. And it seemed quite simple 2 years ago. Getting over here, finding a boat, getting the gear here, it's quite a big job.
And there would be a lot of logistics. It sounds simple, it's the same sort of boat, but you've already told us there's a lot of stuff you've got to change. Just tell us briefly what are the major things you have to do.
Well, I think it's as simple as it can be. So the boat is identical. So we've got the same hull, we've got the same mast, same rudder, same keel. So the platform's the same. The nuances are how we've got our boat set up. So we've put the rig how we want it, because we brought all our sails across, brought a lot of the sheets and some of the halyards, brought the tech across. So it's getting all that set up, going out, testing it, getting all the little optimizations how we want it, and then working out the course here, because we've both done the Fastnet, but I think I'm the most recent at 18 years ago, and memory is a little sketchy, so it's re-familiarising ourselves with the Solent, talking to everyone we can, and people have been fantastic at sharing knowledge, and then sort of working out the broader race planning.
And Jan, the sails, they come in check-in, or did you actually have to freight them?
Oh, totally freight them. Like through DHL, like about a month ago now, and it was a bit wobbly there, but the company was great, and my local friend here, Alistair from our company here in the UK, was very helpful. So like 115 kilos later, in a beautiful crate, it's in the back of the car there. It's all here, yeah.
And how many sails did you bring?
All of them, the lot. No, not the storm jib, but everything else.
So how many sails is that?
Oh, well, it's a starting. It's a storm, not the storm. It's a number 5, a 4, a 2, then a secret weapon. I can't say. Then a drifter cum spinnaker staysail. 2 S2s. We've rated 2 in case we blow one up, and then a 3.5, like asymmetric spinnaker, code 0. And a free reef main. Yeah, it's quite a bit.
So Jules, you've both done the Fastnet, but it's a very different animal, isn't it? You've got to be thinking a lot more about tide and particularly those gates and so on, yeah? Yeah,
the navigation's really different. The Sydney Hobart, it's weather, it's ocean currents, and then it's the strategy on the other boats, the tactic on the other boats. Here we've got really new, especially on that way out to Land's End, you've got tidal gates at Portland, you've got Start Point, you've got the Lizard, then you've got all the traffic separation zones. So we get to the Scilly Isles off Land's End, and there's 3 traffic separation zones. We've got to choose our route, which is really dependent on what you think is going to happen halfway across the Irish Sea and what the other boats are doing that you're racing against. So I think the navigation is next level. So that's one of the big considerations for the time we've got when we're sailing two-handed. We've got to be racing. We've got to be sailing the boat. That's the most important thing. But we've got to have enough time to get the navigation right, and that's harder because we're not from here. Well, I am, but a long, long time ago. So I'm not that familiar with the course.
And a massive two-handed fleet, Jan, as well. So it's like huge competition. So presumably you just want to get on and do your race, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Jules summed it up. With the AIS, you can get trapped in trying to follow other boats, but I think that's you've got to be very careful with that energy. We've got wonderful support from people with our routing and weather. So by and large, we're going to stick to our plan. But nevertheless, you've got to look out for your competition. It's that fine balance that the shorthanders know very well.
And presumably quite a community of shorthanders here, much as there were in Hobart, really.
Yeah, the two-handed people, it's a bit like laser sailing. You're all respectful of each other's pain. So you all love each other and you all think you feel semi-crazy. And that brings you together and you share everything. Yeah, it's quite remarkable that's no different here as it is in Australia. There's a few more here.
Yeah. Jules, you're saying that you got a really good sort of punchy little trial out past the Needles yesterday. Just tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, well, I think the forecast for Saturday is 25 to 30. So if you're wondering what it looks like, watch the 2021 Fastnet replay, which we did last night. And so we had 22, gusting 25 yesterday. So we took off from the start line off Cowes, went down all the little points. You got to tack, get your tacks right to maximise the tidal current. Roared through Hurst Narrows, tacked down the shingle bank, and then we saw this line of white breaking water. Quick, get the chart plotter up. What's on the bottom? Seems all right. Through these great big, just breaking waves for about 100 metres. That's called the bridge. I think it's like the needles extend on water. So we got through those, and then it was a bit better out the other side. But so it was good. It was a good test run. Boat went well.
Jan, tell us a little bit about what you've changed. What's different about the boat setup, if you're able to tell us at least a little bit? Obviously, sails are always a secret, but what's different about the boat setup?
Nothing really, except for I think that we were asymmetric in the Hobart, and now we are running a symmetric with the spinnaker staysail and the heavy air asymmetric. So that's really the only difference. Other than that, I guess you got to tune your rig for the event. You can go like offshore, very robust, or anticipate some more lighter winds, and you back it off a bit, and that's always the challenge. But no, on the whole, I think we're taking advantage of what we've learned with all the long races we've done, and it's like Jules said, it's fine tuning, so you're comfortable. Yeah.
And having a symmetric as well as an asymmetric, is that harder work, Jules?
It's different. Yeah. So at first, we did a lot of practice. I think it was before the Gold Coast last year where we first raced with it. So we did a lot of practice on the harbour, practicing jibing in light winds, then in stronger winds, so that we've got the muscle memory of how to do it when the conditions are a bit more tricky. But so we've got it going now, and the boat goes really nicely with it.
Excellent. And when we were last talking about this thing, you were talking about how critical it was to get the pacing right. So,
well, a friend of mine in Australia suggested I get here early, and I did exactly that. And I think I'm feeling, after yesterday, I think it's a whole load off my shoulder that we've tested it all, and it's unlikely something's going to break. That there was some good hit out, more to come, but we're up for it. So that's quite an energy-sapping thing leading into this event, anxious. And I think I passed that, and now I'm looking forward to putting it into practice, to be honest. I'm ready for it.
And for you, Jules, a little more recently here, is the jet lag still there, or is it fading nicely?
Oh, I'm getting through it.
He's young,
You're
he's
getting
fine.
through it. Yeah. But I was just going to say, there's only two of us on this team, but this has been made possible by a huge army of supporters. And it starts with our mates from the TwoHanded crew back in Australia who've been super supportive. I've had Shane Connolly texting me photos of things while we've been here. But then it's from Ian Short, who's done a cracking job with the sales, Contender, who've been awesome with sponsoring the programme, Key Yachting, who've helped us get hold of the boat. Like, the list goes on and on of all the people. So I think a big thanks to everyone that's helped us get here.
It's great to hear that you're sort of giving it a good run as well and feel more confident, and we're really looking forward to seeing you out there. Go well, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Terrific.